Is this thing on?
Yes.
Tap, tap, tap.
I almost used foul language, which is common for America. It is, what time is it? 6:06? 6:06 on a Monday. Vic, Kelly, Lewis. Did you guys have a nice weekend? An enjoyable weekend?
Yeah. I had a good weekend. I usually am a step counter, right?
Yeah.
I have my phone with me all the time, so I look at my steps.
Use your phone and not a Fitbit?
Yes.
Okay.
So I typically I'm aiming for 6,000. I'm not a 10,000 step person. I'm aiming for 6. I usually get well over it because of my dog. But my husband, I'm realizing now how much he has to do with my step count because he left for Cleveland Saturday and went to the Guardians game Saturday night. So he was gone. I'm by myself with my dog. I didn't even get 3,000 steps.
Wow.
Saturday. I was basically sitting on my butt, binge watching that Wyatt Earp documentary on Netflix. I sat there for hours doing nothing. I got 2,900 steps. Now that's an embarrassment.
Did you even get up that day?
I did 2,900 steps worth, Lewis.
Wow.
Yep.
I find that if I use I have a Fitbit and I use my watch, my phone, which is connected to my phone. My Fitbit seems to register more steps than my watch does.
Okay.
And I know this because, if I'm in a boxing or a kickboxing class and I happen to have my watch on, about halfway, almost 3/4 of the way through it, my watch acknowledges that I've been working out. Whereas my Fitbit has already started calculating.
Have you seen those rings that you can put on? A ring on? Yeah, and that'll count steps as well. That seems less invasive than all of it. Yeah. Really? But anyway, I don't know if people still are counting steps these days, but I do. And I was very sad to see that I don't move. If there's nobody around me, if I'm left to my own devices, I'm on the couch.
I can't do the ring thing. Tried that once, got screwed over in that deal. Never going back. So it can't be a ring. It's got to be a watch, a bracelet, a necklace, something along those lines.
Nothing that mimics a wedding ring.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Not.
Okay, say no more.
Vic, how was your weekend?
I was pretty good. I ended up at the bourbon toast that we had going on Saturday.
Yeah. How was that?
It was a really cool event.
Did you get hammered drunk?
Not hammered. Maybe screwdriver drunk. Is that?
Never heard that phrase before.
I don't know, man. I was just trying to come up with a different tool. That wasn't quite as,
Gotcha.
But yeah, that was at East Market, and ton of people. Kirsch and Tess do that every year,
Correct.
And Kirsch got sick, so I covered for him and ended up not minding. It was a pretty cool event. So, yeah, thanks to everybody who came out there. There was a ton of people there. I met Rob from Mansfield, and
nice.
His, I had her name in my head. Oh, Felicia. Rob and Felicia from Mansfield.
That's cool.
Yeah. And Emmanuel from Ghana, who I have to tell you about later when Tess comes in to do the rock rundown at 8:35.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned the start of this about swear words. We in the U.S. swear more online than anybody else does.
Shock.
Someone analyzed our social media posts and found that we do it more than any other country. UK's next, followed by Australia, New Zealand, and Canada.
See, that's where you're all going wrong, because I don't want record of my swear words. I just say them. I don't type them out because I don't need them following me around for the rest of my life.
I'm the same way. When we're not on the radio, I will swear like a proverbial sailor, and I'm horrible at it, and I know it's a terrible habit, and I hate hearing myself talk. But when I text,
Never.
I'm a clean texter. Or a clean emailer. I don't do that.
I might swear in a text.
He's a fraud.
I'll swear in a text, but I won't swear in a social media situation. Never.
See, I won't do either one. Now, if we're talking face to face, there's a good chance you don't want me around the kids. I'm not a channel your kids should watch. But if it's a text, I'm clean. What about you?
You probably shouldn't have your kids around me if I'm watching football or playing a football video game.
Okay. But I'm about as far as text or social media, because, again, I've seen your posts. It's not like you look at this effing bass.
Yeah, no, I don't. No, not on social media. I really don't. I might in a text, like you, Kelly. I don't have. Depends on who I'm texting with.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. We do it. I'm not surprised that Americans do it the most, but we do.
No, not at all. I see a lot of cussing on social media.
There's a lot of cussing and a lot of bad grammar. In a lot of cases, I hope it's your auto check on your phone that's causing it. Because I know my phone will make me look like I've got like a third grade education sometimes. I really hope it's autocorrect, and that's not the way people really do speak and use grammar.
It probably is.
I know.
Well, I mean, what do you think the Revolutionary War was about? It's for our right to cuss. All right?
That's right.
We went to war with another country
Screw
just
you,
to use
King
swear
George,
words.
the whatever, 6th.
All right. What do we got? Morning Blitz trivia this morning.
All right, $25 to water beds and stuff. Just be the first one to text in the correct answer at 99700. What rock band started a 100-hour countdown on their website and YouTube page over the weekend? Doesn't say why, obviously. It's down to, what do we have, 56 hours and change here? We're counting down now. So, what rock band started a 100-hour countdown on their website and YouTube page over the weekend? Tell us at 99700. Be first, get the gift card.
It's the Morning Blitz, 622 thick. Rick, Kelly, Quinn, Lewis. We'll see partly cloudy skies today and a high of 95. And it's going to be even hotter tomorrow. So stay hydrated. One and all.
Man, it was so hot yesterday. We
was.
had our dog out. Charlie ran. We were quite a ways from the car, and our poor dog had it. So he went up ahead of us. We cut through, and he met us, like he came and picked us up so that Moses didn't have to walk anymore.
Oh, my God.
Poor little
dog.
buddy. It was hot.
It was a little warm, that's for sure. Doug wants to know, Rick, when you left the Bourbon Affair after you said goodbye to Rob and Felicia, did you say bye, Felicia?
I didn't. I was tempted, but I didn't.
Oh. Missed opportunity?
Maybe if it was 2004, he would have done it. But
I said, I got to tell you about Emmanuel from Ghana, and we got a text that said, Emmanuel from Ghana is an Uber driver. I'm like, that's one of the things he does, so you've met him too. Anybody else met Emmanuel from Ghana? He's a trip.
I have not, but apparently need to.
Yeah. I'll tell you what the things he told me coming up around 8:50. It's unbelievable.
Morning Blitz trivia this morning.
All right, our question was, what rock band started a countdown, a 100-hour countdown on their website and YouTube channel over the weekend?
Steel Panther.
We've talked about this several times here in the past few months, that Linkin Park was looking for a new singer. We've heard rumor that it's a girl, and that they were going to get this singer and do a tour, and so I'm thinking that's what this is about.
Possibly.
I mean, that's what all the fans believe anyway.
If they do a female, I'm okay with it. I think.
So here's the thing. Again, we've got this change in Sonic Temple next year where it's going to move. It's actually going to be Mother's Day weekend, the second weekend in May. And they said in order to get this big band that they're going to bring in, they had to make that move. And so, we were speculating on that, and this was one of the possibilities. So my question is this. Linkin Park without Chester, are they a headliner at Sonic Temple? Is that a headliner to you at Sonic Temple if it's Linkin Park with some new singer?
yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge
Okay.
I mean, for
Okay.
sure.
All right, just checking. I just wanted to see what you guys
With
felt.
a female, I think you run the risk of, if you put a male in there, given the fact that I understand that Chester passed away, but it's going to be a Chester knockoff no matter who it is, if it's a male. If it's a female, at least you change the song.
Okay.
And you're just, you know what I mean? You still got Shinoda there, so you have that. I think it works better because, again, let's take Stone Temple Pilots for an example. Same deal. Scott Weiland passes away. You put Jeff Good in there, and while Jeff's not bad, Stone Temple Pilots not quite the same level. And I think what makes it worse is Jeff does his damnedest to dress and look like Scott Weiland, and I think that is mistake number one. I think he should just be him and sing instead of, he does the vest and the tie. And
right.
Like, now you look like a Scott Weiland knockoff. Which makes it worse. But I think with a female singer, You can most likely she's going to have the range to cover all those songs.
Hear me out.
I will.
Miley Cyrus.
As in Linkin Park?
Yes.
Oh, stop! No.
I think she'd be amazing. Have you heard this girl's voice?
Miley Cyrus has a great voice in any other rock band other than Linkin Park.
I think she'd be like a novelty. That's a headliner.
Yeah,
if you ask
novelty.
me.
Novelty.
A novelty. I mean, she's not going to like do this forever, but maybe a year. Bad idea. I'm not talking about Hannah Montana. I'm talking about Miley friggin' Cyrus. She is so good, and she is rock and roll.
I think she is. I also think Kesha sounds good when she sings rock and roll, but I would not like to see either one of them in Linkin Park. But then again, I'm jaded because I'm a huge Linkin Park fan, so that's a band that I'm protective of.
You're the people they want to please, though, so I guess Miley Cyrus is out.
I just don't think that, I think a female, depending on who the female is, I think a female is the way to go in this. I think it could be very cool. So yeah, I think Linkin Park hasn't toured since 2017. That's a 7-year gap. Yeah, they're headline material.
Okay,
I think people would go see that.
Miley.
Jeb is with you. Jeb texted in, go back to sleep, Kelly.
About Miley?
I guess so.
You said she's rock and roll?
She is rock and roll, big time.
This is rock and roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you not thrashing right now?
I'm trying to hear the voice and think about it with Linkin Park.
Yeah, this is the wrong song to compare with Linkin Park, though. She can sing.
That was on purpose.
Oh, well, she can sing.
She did.
Well, I'm not saying she's singing bad here.
Didn't she sing Metallica once? I swear Miley Cyrus did.
Oh, I think she
Yeah, Nothing Else Matters.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it was great.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Miley Cyrus
Why
can
don't you
sing.
put that
rock.
one on?
Yeah. I don't know that Party in the USA is the song that I would, maybe coax Miley Cyrus into Linkin Park with. But I do believe she did some stuff with Metallica and sang with Metallica, and it was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'd have to find that. But, yeah.
Chris said not epic enough to move it to Mother's Day weekend. Headliner, sure, but not top headliner. Okay. It's fair. I think it would work. And I think Mother's Day weekend is all subjective to how much you really want to spend time with your mom and how much mom really wants to spend time with you. So, for some, Mother's Day tradition. There are other moms that would just leave me the hell alone. It's my day. You do whatever you want except bother me.
Take mom to breakfast, and then you can just have the rest of the day to rock out
at Sonic.
baby.
There you go. See? That's a possibility. Corey Feldman. Hell no. I saw the train wreck at Louder Than Life that was Machine Gun Kelly, who spent most of the night getting things thrown at him while he yelled at the crowd. I don't want to see Corey Feldman and a god-awful guitar solo in whatever he chooses to wear at Sonic Temple. Hard pass. Hard pass. Anyway.
All right. Well, Rodney Bookman from Nelsonville was the first one to text in the correct answer. So Rodney's got $25 to waterbeds and stuff.
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
All right. I'll start today. I've got something. Are you guys a fan of the Krispy Kreme donut?
Yes.
Are you?
Oh.
Not so much.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's...
Oh, my gosh. Are you joking? I'll take yours.
No, I've also heard, though, that if you're going to get it, the ones you see at the gas station are not the ones.
No.
You have to get the actual...
You have to go to Krispy Kreme when the hot light's on.
A light. Yeah, it's all about that light.
Okay, well, Krispy Kreme is adding a Dr. Pepper flavored donut to their menu to kick off football season because Dr. Pepper is the college football drink of choice, apparently. So, yeah, it's a Dr. Pepper donut. It's already in stores. The Dr. Pepper Kickoff Donut is a classic glazed donut topped with Dr. Pepper flavored frosting, reminiscent of the carbonated drink. It's also topped with burgundy sprinkles and a white chocolate Dr. Pepper logo.
Yeah, I don't like Dr. Pepper in its original form, so I don't need it in icing form.
Right.
So you're not in this.
I hate Dr. Pepper. That is
Okay.
the worst drink ever created. The worst. I would rather drink Tahitian Treat. Do you remember that?
Is that the red stuff?
Yeah, I'd rather drink that.
Tahitian Treat.
than
I haven't
Dr.
heard that in
Pepper.
forever. Do you like root beer?
No,
Okay.
Do
Which
not
is
like root
worse?
beer.
Dr. Pepper or root beer?
Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Dr. Pepper, and I'm not a big fan of Krispy Kreme, so I'm a big no.
Oh, yeah, you're a big no.
Jeff said bought 3 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts yesterday. Did get some of the Dr. Pepper donuts. They were okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. When you're trying to create something like that flavor, that's the flavor of, I don't know. I don't like any of that manufactured. Just, I don't know, pour Dr. Pepper over it or bake it in Dr. Pepper or no, what is it? Is it fried? They're fried. Fry it up in some Dr. Pepper. Maybe see how that goes.
So,
use the real thing.
I tried something this weekend that I wasn't sure that I would like on that lines where you're trying to create a flavor. The gig I was at Saturday had Hot Honey Crunch Grater's ice cream.
Hot Honey Crunch. Was it any good? I don't like hot ice cream.
It had
like
a little
kick.
You could taste the hot spicy honey, but it had like a vanilla based ice cream to it. I'm not sure. I've been on the fence about this since I've tried it.
Yeah, I don't need anything weird in my ice cream, and I don't need it to burn my tongue in terms of the flavor. I don't like it to be spicy.
It was different. That's for sure. But anyway, you can look for Krispy Kreme donuts. They are in stores now.
Mike from 7-Up said, Kelly, we still distribute Tahitian Treat to this day.
Oh, boy, I'll take one. If it's between that and a Dr. Pepper, you sign me up for Tahitian Treat. I will take it.
Tahitian Treat it is.
Well, I got something, guys.
All right.
Okay, something I never think about. Like you save a meme to your phone, send it to your friends, or you do the reply all emails, the thousands upon thousands of pictures we take. They have our attention for 1 second, and then we forget about it. But it's all stored in the cloud, right?
Right.
So we've got tons of junk. It's basically junk data in the cloud. To the tune of about 68% of our cloud storage that we use, or a business as a whole, about 68% of whatever is stored in the cloud is absolute junk. Could be deleted. However, tech companies charge for cloud storage, so they have a financial incentive to keep our stockpiles of junk data for us, even though it means nothing. However, there's a guy named Ian Hodgkinson. He's a professor of strategy in the UK. He says storing all of this data is so bad for the environment, if that's something that you are concerned with. All this data adds up in data centers, which is what the cloud is. It's just a giant data center that's super hot, super noisy, and they consume a large amount of energy. He says that daily companies produce 1.3 billion gigabytes of junk data every day. And that is the same amount of energy as 3,023,000 flights from London to New York.
Wow.
That's how much energy those data centers are using daily for companies alone.
So our data's like as bad as plastic.
Yeah, I guess if you're talking about a carbon footprint, I mean, those data centers are really junking up our environment with all the energy usage. And a lot of it, most of it, is our memes and our reply all emails that we never look at again. That's pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution is, but there you go.
Just delete it.
No one knows
we should
what the
just
cloud
delete
is.
it all.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to notice.
No.
Nobody knows what the cloud is. It's just there.
Right.
We just send our
It
stuff
sounds
to
so fluffy, but it's actually gross and dark and noisy and destroying the environment, I guess. I don't know.
That's like everything else we do.
All right, I've got something.
Sure.
A pharmacy is in the news after posting 10 tips for using a condom payroll because of this one tip in particular. It says that if you are using a condom and you last more than 30 minutes, you absolutely need to change to a second condom because it is very likely to break after 30 minutes of use. And so this has blown up and...
yeah, because they're searching for the guy who this applies to.
Right?
Well, yeah, I saw it said if you last more than 30 minutes, I'm like, I don't need to read this. But so just the friction will wear it down.
Isn't that when you're supposed to go to the doctor? I mean...
I've always been a duct tape guy myself.
Oh, boy.
Duct tape. Anyway, they said in closing, the important thing is just to practice safe sex in general. But If you're going over 30 minutes, you want to replace that because it is likely to break.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that's is good advice if you didn't know that.
So I go with duct tape. If you can seal a pipe with duct tape, you're good. 6:49 on the Morning Blitz. Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn, and Lewis. 95 and hot today, so make sure you stay hydrated.
And 97 tomorrow, I saw.
Yep, definitely want to water your pets and your old people. Probably all week. Okay. Fitness expert Joe Wicks called his partner's breast milk liquid gold.
Have you guys ever heard of this guy? All right, well, here he is talking about it.
Even if the vote said no, I still would have drank it. I ain't dashing that. Liquid gold, mama's milk. The energy and nutrients in that is unbelievable. Actually, believe it or not, it tastes really sweet. It's like a natural sweet, like vanilla milk. No wonder babies love sugar and sweet stuff. Down the hatch. It's so unoffensive, honestly. It's actually nice. Wouldn't have it on my porridge or cereal, but it's nice for a little shot now and again.
I mean, I suppose when you were a young child, you grew up on it, but...
Yeah, I mean, breast milk has all the nutrients that the kiddo needs to grow and to develop and all that stuff. Beyond infancy, that's gross.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. It's disgusting.
White Russian, she's got the milk.
Has anybody in Blitz Nation, have you ever tasted breast milk? Because I don't want to. I don't want to know.
Okay.
I don't want to know. I don't want to personally know what it tastes like. I just want to know if somebody else has. But I mean, he seems to think it's nice and sweet, and
so's almond milk. Get the right flavor. Hard pass on that.
And he's a fitness expert. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Apparently so.
Okay. Well,
not going to reach for that.
No. He said. Now he did say he wouldn't put it on his cereal.
So it's good enough to do shots of, but not good enough to put on your Frosted Flakes.
Evidently.
Hard pass. But then again, we live in a world where you can find somebody that's attracted to almost anything on the internet. So there's a market for just about everything.
Well, good luck with your... you know how when they pass around like the breast milk, like they have those breast milk banks and things like, you have to be really careful.
Sure.
So I don't know where you're getting this breast milk if it's not from your nursing wife, but I don't know, man. This makes me weak to think about. It's so gross.
Trey texted in and said, I have sampled my woman's breast milk. It is very good. Melanie Watson said she has tasted her own, and it's very sweet. Another text says, yes, it's sweet. Doug Rogers says, what a wanker.
So people, like I said, there's a market for just about everything. For me, not so much.
Yeah, I'm good. I like a jug from the store.
And maybe that makes me not cool and not dangerous. I'm okay with that. Just fine.
Got another text. It's a fetish to some. Bert said, I've had it. It wasn't bad. However, it felt dirty drinking. Gavin said, it tastes great.
Oh. Yeah.
Sean says, hey, no kink shaming.
Nothing, man. Everybody, you do you.
And now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
Second murder-suicide in a week in Columbus. Police called to a home off Briggs Road yesterday afternoon. Man and woman in their 50s found shot. One pronounced dead at the scene. The other died at the hospital. Just 6 days ago, there was a murder-suicide on the south end. Police called to the home because 3 little kids couldn't get into their home after school. Well, it's been decided the 2 astronauts who went up to the International Space Station on Boeing's Starliner for an 8-day stay in June will have to come home on a different spacecraft next year. NASA says astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, who performed the first crewed test flight of Starliner, will return in February 2025 on the SpaceX Crew 9. The Boeing Starliner will return in a separate unmanned flight. Now, they got, I guess, a Russian unpiloted spacecraft delivered about 3 tons of supplies and it'll remain docked there for about 6 months. So they've got plenty of supplies. But boy, your Christmas plans have sure changed, haven't they, for those two astronauts?
I cannot figure out. NASA has been sending people to the space station for, 30 years? You don't have a spaceship on standby, ready to go at all times in case you have to rescue somebody from said space station? Like that, I feel like that should just be parked in the garage. We start it once in a while to make sure it runs. We check all the fluids.
Yeah.
All right, we got to put this in that play. I mean, you're only asking it to go up, dock, pick up people, and come back. Like, that should have been built and put in practice years ago.
If you had a ship bring them supplies, couldn't they just ride back on that ship?
Well, that's not a spacecraft, I don't think, meant for humans.
Oh.
But, they're SpaceX's Crew 9 is launching in September. It was supposed to go up with 4 astronauts. It's only going up with 2. And it's going to do its thing until February, and then all 4 will come back together.
Oh, okay. So that was already a plan?
Yeah.
Right.
They were going to send 4 astronauts, but instead they took 2 away.
So they can bring an extra 2 back. All right, I gotcha.
Well, you've heard of those illegal sideshows where tons of people pull up in an intersection to do car stunts, and it's basic mayhem there. In the San Francisco Bay Area over the weekend, police received multiple calls about a sideshow involving 500 vehicles, drivers blocking traffic, doing donuts, beaming lasers into the eyes of other drivers. And the occupants of a Cadillac shined a laser right into the eyes of a police officer, then took off, leading police on a 10-mile chase. The driver and 3 others bailed out of the car, took off running. Police say they did leave something behind, though, inside the Caddy, a 10-foot python. What is your life? You're doing a sideshow. You're doing donuts, shining lasers into the eyes. Laser means the eyes of other drivers. And you have a 10-foot python in your Cadillac. What is that life? What are we doing? I need a documentary on this. Those are your 3 things.
Hailstorm on the morning blitz, 7:06. Dick, Rick, Kelly, Quinn, Lewis back at it on a Monday where we will see some very hot temperatures this week starting today. We're partly cloudy and 95, and it gets even hotter over the next couple of days. So get ready for that. The self-driving thing. We've heard, didn't somebody say there were self-driving trucks already going down 33?
Yeah.
Or is it like a testing thing, or?
I'm not sure.
Somebody tested in that there were self-driving semis that were running routes on 33.
Well, a lot of people, Uber, Lyft has become their side hustle. Uber said that they're going to start implementing self-driving cars.
I always they do them in test markets first. At least up to this point, they have the self-driving service vehicles.
Yeah,
like cabs and all that we talked about. Remember, their horns were all going off at the same time. The self-driving lifts or whatever they were. But so I wouldn't mind being in a test market.
Really, you do this?
I mean, I don't want to go up to freeway speeds yet, but I would go like school zone speeds. Like 20 miles an hour. Or like they did around Bicentennial Park or down there by the river. They had those self-driving carts or whatever, and they went real slow, and you could just kind of look at the Scioto and Cosi and sort of travel around that way. I would like to be in a test market for stuff like that. I think that's cool.
Uber got together with Cruise LLC, which is a self-driving car startup owned by GM. And basically, they're going to provide Chevy Bolt self-driving vehicles starting next year. Which should be, I don't know. I mean, I think it wouldn't bother me as much if you could just get in the car and go from point A to point B. But the problem is, there are so many potential traffic things that you would have to deal with. You know what I mean?
But isn't the rule, though, that you have to have somebody alert and in the driver's seat or able to take the controls? I mean, you can't just go to sleep in the back seat and let your self-driving car drive. You're not allowed to do that.
I don't know, but I mean, I think that's what they're trying to get to.
Uber,
yeah,
probably, but yeah, you're. I think you're supposed to have someone at the controls.
Yeah.
At this point, like with your Tesla self-driving, you can't throw it into self-driving mode and hop in the back seat. I don't think that that's allowed, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we do have trucks on 33, autonomous trucks. They are transporting goods throughout the state, but here's how they do it. There's actually 2 trucks, a set of 2. The first truck controls the direction and the speed. The second truck responds autonomously. Currently, both trucks do have a driver in them. They're just not doing anything. So I'm guessing this is still in the testing phase is probably why that is. But I would think eventually that's what they want to do, right? Because isn't this all about money? So they don't have to hire people to do this?
You don't have to hire a driver now.
Let's put more Americans out of business.
Well, the other thing is,
of course, that's what we want.
Well, but a driver can only drive 8 hours a day. So with an automated truck,
right,
I can send freight from Columbus to California nonstop it if it's automated. If it run, I just don't like that idea because I just feel like there's so many. I mean, how many times have you been driving along and everything's fine, and all of a sudden everything's at a dead stop?
Yeah.
Or you see an accident that you can't avoid right away.
Well, now where I was reading this story, they have a video where a deer ran out in the road and the truck stopped.
Okay,
so.
Yeah, I think that's the goal of them.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Remember how they, like when those Teslas, the self-driving, and they get in accidents and they're like, yeah, the driver was asleep or whatever, but in self-driving mode or some crazy thing like that. I mean, listen, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I thought that you had to have somebody alert in the vehicle at this point.
Yeah.
But
well, that may be the case.
We'll see.
I don't know.
I'm just not... I can't get on board with this concept. But then again, I'm anti-AI and have been. I've seen the movie. Know where it ends. I'm maybe driven in and I can't get out of my car. I see what happens. You lock me in there. Yeah. It's a death trap on wheels. Thank you very much. But no, thank you. Speaking of self-driving, perhaps this guy could have used this. Florida or not? You tell us. I'll give you the headline. You text us at 99700 or 800-821-9970. A guy rear-ended a police officer while eating wings behind the wheel. Football season is upon us. Wing sales probably getting ready to pick up at an all-time high. Could be a Florida thing. Could be a Dublin thing. Guy rear-ended a cop while eating wings behind the wheel. Florida or not? It's the Morning Blitz, 721 Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn. I'm Lewis. Another fine edition of Florida or not. The headline, guy rear-ended a cop while eating wings behind the wheel. Is this a Florida thing? Donnie seems to think so. Chuck says not Florida. Byron says, I'm just wondering if he had a beer in a cup holder to go with his wings. Bobby says no. Curtis says Florida. Thank you, Matt, and a bunch of other truck drivers who came in and said that you can drive, I believe, 10 or 11 hours, not 8, of drive time per day. So thanks for clearing that up for us when we were talking about the automated driving, which this guy might have need. But here we go.
Now, when you do the Florida Man or Not stories, are we getting a hint at all ever in the story, whether it's... You don't even give a hint?
The headline is the hint.
So it's like a 1 in 50 chance?
Well, yeah, but I mean, usually the dumber criminals do tend to reside in Florida, but every now and again we get someone that is upped their game in a different state.
I'm just trying to figure out how I can how I can be best at this game.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to guess Georgia.
You're going to go Georgia? Okay.
I guess Ohio.
Ohio.
We love wings here.
I do love wings.
Yeah, or Buffalo, New York.
Home of the Buffalo Wing. On the list of the worst foods to eat while driving, a 73-year-old dude was eating chicken wings behind the wheel. And he rear-ended a state trooper while sitting at a red light in his patrol car. Guy was too busy with his wings to even notice. No one was hurt. Both cars sustained minor damage. The cops cited him for distracted driving and put out a statement. It is important to remember to focus on driving when behind the wheel. Driving distracted, in this case eating wings, is a risky driving behavior that leads to preventable crashes.
It gets slick on that wheel, too, because it's like...
Oh, yeah, you got a little Parmesan garlic up there, and it messes it up. Wow. This happened to a 73-year-old dude in Detroit Rock City, Michigan.
Oh, man. I almost said Michigan.
Damn it. Do you eat behind the wheel?
Very rarely.
Yeah, I always eat when I'm leaving the grocery store. There's something I buy in the grocery store that is meant to be eaten on the way home.
Is that right?
Every time. And I go to the grocery almost every day. So, yes, I eat behind the wheel. grapes, maybe. And trust me, these grapes are unwashed, baby, and I'm still eating them.
I think you can eat behind the wheel, but it has to be the right kind of food. Like
grapes are fine.
Like
right?
I would not get a Chipotle burrito bowl or a burrito and try to eat that bad boy while I'm driving.
It has to be finger food, right?
It's got to be a sandwich.
Something hand food of some
slice of pizza, maybe, depending on where it's. You can probably get away with that. Anything that requires a lot of, dexterity, I'm not sure is the best way to go.
I heard when that guy got pulled over, he broke out into song. Kelly's rocking out.
Well,
Best song.
Chris said he's seen people eat a bowl of cereal while they're driving. Chris could do it when It's Always Sunny or Dennis could do it while It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. How can you eat cereal while you're driving?
You can't really do both well, can you?
You can't steer with your knee?
And eat a bowl of cereal?
You've never steered with your knee before?
Yes, but I've never steered with my knee while I try and eat a bowl of cereal. I've steered with my knee while setting up my ways.
Okay, what's the difference?
Cereal you got to keep the milk from getting all over. There's a lot that goes into eating a bowl of cereal.
Yeah, any little bump, you're spilling milk.
Oh,
Why?
man.
That's just not a great option.
I feel like you got to use the right container for that task. Don't you think? Can't be like just a regular wide bowl that can spill easy. Maybe you want like a giant coffee mug or something.
I could eat sushi behind the wheel with chopsticks. Cody's saying sushi behind the wheel.
Okay.
With chopsticks.
Is that necessary?
Oh my gosh, this is elite level driving.
Yeah. What's the most complicated thing you could eat behind the wheel? That's a good question.
Man.
If you're eating sushi with chopsticks anyway, I think that you think you're better than everyone.
Well, yeah, we are. It's a talent to do that. I'll eat a salad with chopsticks.
Why?
Because that's what you do when you go to that type of restaurant and they hand you the chopsticks. You eat it. I'll eat my whole salad with chopsticks.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Oh, good for you.
Why? That's why when I had it out with the hibachi chef last week, he was like, I see your kung fu is good.
I think you're right, Kelly, about people who are using chopsticks.
Use a fork like a normal person.
It's just not necessary.
Jordan said it's a mindset. Curtis said I had a woman teach me to drive with my knee to deliver newspapers back in the day, so he could eat cereal. Okay.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot. Steer with my knee while I was doing other things.
Poor Serena, you can't steer with your knee when you're 5 feet nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Makes it a little different.
Definitely a taller person's game.
Matt says, I love when cops talk about distracted driving when they're driving, looking at a computer, running tags, and usually on their phone. Fair point.
Well, they do have a lot going on in a police car, don't they?
I just, when the cop pulls me over, do you know how fast you were going? I was going 76, sir. Well, I'm writing you a ticket. Well, good, I'm writing you one, too, because you had to go at least 80 to catch me. 7:37 on the Morning Blitz. Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick, I'm Lewis. On a hot Monday, 95 today. Get ready. It's going to be a warm one this week.
Fun.
Yeah, but when it's 7 degrees out, we'll appreciate these 90-degree days.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
I don't think that's possible. It's not humanly possible in your brain to appreciate a 90-degree day when it's 0 degrees out. We'll complain then, just like we're complaining now. You don't sit there in 0 degrees and go, gee, but I sure did appreciate that 90-degree day back in August.
I'll tell you what, if it's 7 degrees out, I do appreciate a 90-degree day.
Yeah. Which would you rather be, too hot or too cold?
Rather be too hot.
Would you?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, you can only take off so many clothes.
Says
you
you.
can keep putting on layers. Well, I mean, until they're all gone, you can keep putting on more layers, I guess.
Hey, I mean...
But yeah, I'd prefer too hot over too cold.
I mean, I'm sure the neighborhood appreciated when I washed the Jeep in the Speedo yesterday. I felt like I was, giving them an extra vacation day.
That should be an HOA fine.
Even oiled up. You're glistening. Thank you. Anyway, Jay said, Lewis, when I was younger, I got a speeding ticket going 23 miles over, so I had to go to court, and I don't know what was said, but the judge hit me with the exact warnings. I know I was a smartass and I was young. I had to pay $25 for every mile over the speed limit plus court costs. Ouch. He said 2 wrongs don't make a right, and I came back with, yeah, but I'm in court for speeding and the cop had to speed himself. So this makes it right? I don't know. And the judge apparently did not think that it did. So,
is that a thing? They charge you per mile over the speed limit? Is that how that goes?
I don't know. I think it's a set, like, if you're going this many, between 7 and 10 miles over the speed limit, it's this much. Between 10 and 20 miles, it's this much. That's what I think it is. I don't know. I've been pulled over a lot in my day. And, usually rack up into the hundreds of dollars.
All right. I mean, I think every judge is different, though. I think they have the right to, if you kind of throw yourself on the mercy of their judge, they can decide what they want to do at that point, right?
Say hi to Judgito.
I never go to court over my speeding tickets. I just pay them.
Right. You never tried to fight it down?
Never. I'm always in the wrong.
Yeah, but they say that if the police officer doesn't show up, you get away with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You hope that guy's busy.
I've had 3 speeding tickets in my life, and I just paid them.
Okay. Guess I have a little different outlook with the law than you do.
Well, you're the one's been arrested multiple times, so.
This is true. So, have you ever borrowed... Oh, I said so again. I need a drawer right there every time I say that stupid word. Borrowing money. I don't like to borrow money. Do you guys like to borrow money from people?
I can't remember the last time I borrowed money. I can't remember it.
No. I don't like to borrow money from a bank, let alone somebody I know.
What do you think the payback time should be if you borrow money from somebody?
My opinion is that the payback time is just, you should say when you will be paying it back.
What if you
it
don't
should
know?
be specified. You should say, listen, can I borrow $100? I will pay you back when I get paid next week, or I will pay you back next month. It should be specified. This is when you can expect your money back.
Okay.
And if you don't know, then you should say that. And it should be agreed upon. But you can't just say, hey, let me borrow $1,000 and then walk off into the sunset. You have to say when you're at least going to start paying this back.
Well, and I think everything is a case by case. Curtis says 2 weeks max or you won't get it back. I think everything's a case by case. Again, if you lose your job and you're borrowing money from somebody, I agree with you on the sense that you have to be upfront. Hey, look, man, just lost my job. I'll get this back to you when I can. And that might be a month from now. That might be 3 years from now. It depends on situations. Every situation's different. Vic, what do you think?
Well, I had a friend borrow $50 from me about 20 years ago, and he still has not paid it back.
Hanging on to that, are you?
Well, grudge as much to you?
Well, like I said, I had a friend.
You lost a friend over $50.
Over $50?
No, we didn't. I didn't lose a friend over $50. I lost a friend over the principal.
Ooh, yikes!
But it was $50.
I know.
I mean,
I need the story.
Yeah.
You can't just let us hang here. Somebody borrowed $50 from you, and you ended a friendship over it.
I didn't end the friendship over that. The friendship just kind of went away over the years. I haven't. It's not like I haven't spoken to him in 20 years, but
that's in your mind when you see him, probably.
I just know it because back at that time, didn't have a whole lot of money, but I helped him out, and just nothing. Never even said anything.
Now
after
that's
that.
true. Your own financial situation, it does make a difference.
Right.
So if you're struggling already and you're coughing up $50 for a friend and he never pays it back, I'd be mad over that too.
all right. Well, Steve said he has a buddy that still owes him $20 for some video game, like 6 years. Every time he asked him about it, there's some excuse. So eventually he just squashed it.
See? Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. You just give up on it. You're like, okay, I'm out $50. It's just the way it is.
I would say as an adult, like a working adult who has sort of their life together, I guess, in some way, I would say I would not loan money.
What's that like?
I'm not that I wouldn't loan money. I would not loan money expecting it back. I would say this, I've got to consider a loss.
Yeah.
Or,
Yep.
somebody was like, can I borrow money? Depending on how much, I might be like, here you go, and never expect it back.
That's the best way to go.
Brian, Bad Creation Guitars. I never lend money expecting to ever get it back. If I do, it's a bonus. What's that like, though, having your life together?
It's great.
Is it?
Yeah, it is, because I never did have my life together until I got married to a very upstanding, organized citizen.
You probably set goals, too, don't you? So are you a goal setter?
No.
Okay.
What if your friend's about to be evicted? He's like, man, dude, I need $1,000 or we're going to lose our place. I don't know when I'm going to be able to pay it back to you. Can you help me? And if you've got it, you can afford to loan them $1,000.
Yeah, you know they're in a dire financial situation. It is unlikely they will be able to pay you back.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you're already behind, it's not like you got a raise or something. I mean, unless maybe they did and now they're doing well and they'll be able to, but I'm guessing they don't. So, that's a tough one, man.
This is interesting. Where you're going is where I was kind of going to go with this, but I'm curious to see what Blitz Nation thinks too. 800-821-9970, or you can hit us on the text wall at 99700. What's the time limit that you should set if you borrow money from somebody? What's the payback time? Cedar on the Morning Blitz. 7:49. I started to say something and said something completely else.
Thought you were going in Dracula mode there.
It's Nick, Kelly, and Lewis. We're talking about the payback time. If you borrow or lend money to a friend, what's the appropriate payback time? Tara says, it's nice to be in a place financially where a friend of mine is in need and I can say, here you go, pay me back when you can. I'd rather they just be honest about when they can pay me back. After a month, I know it's gone. Just like the chance or number of they would ever get money from me again.
Jeff says, my cousin is with this idiot of a man who can't hold a job. They lived in this crappy apartment on Cleveland Avenue with no AC. In the heat of the summer, I bought them an almost $300 window AC unit for their bedroom because they just had a baby, and they pawned it and asked to borrow money again. Told them never again. So he doesn't loan money anymore.
I think you have to look at it case by case. I really truly believe this is a case by case thing, and it depends on the character of the individual who borrowed said money. And I remember this because over the pandemic, you saw a lot of people that had massive lifestyle changes because jobs they had forever where they were earning a decent living all of a sudden went away. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand is even if you're not, let's say you're not even living beyond your means. Let's say you're living comfortable, but you go from making, I'll just throw a number out, $75,000 a year to $35,000 a year. You're still employed, you're still trying, but you might be stuck in a situation where your lifestyle can't necessarily change right away. Your mortgage payment doesn't change because you lose your job. Your rent doesn't change because you lose your job. So all those bills and stuff, your car payment is still what it was when you were making substantially more. So I think you have to look at the case-by-case basis where if you are in that situation and you borrow money from someone, you have to look at how they're living their lives. If they're just trying and getting through and working a job till something better comes along and just trying to catch up on their bills, that's one thing. But if you guys go to the crew game and you lent your friend money and all of a sudden he's like, next 2 rounds are on me, then you're like, hold on.
Right.
Wait a second. Because now, okay, while you're buying all those rounds for us, did you find the money I lent you? Because that's a different situation. So, and I think it depends on the character of how that person is living their lives. I'm not loaning you money so you can go get a BMW.
Right.
I think maybe you just have to consider your situation and say, can I afford to lose this money and still be okay in my own life?
Right.
Can I give this money to them and be okay without it in case they don't pay me back? That's the bottom line, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it just made me think about something that happened about 15 years ago. I've been doing fantasy football for a long time, been running a league a long time, and had a guy join the league that year. It's $100 to get in the league. And we had the draft. He said, I'll have the money to you in less than 2 weeks to get in the entry fee. So we're 5-6 weeks now into the season, he still hasn't paid his entry fee. I hit him up again. He goes, yeah, I'll get it to you as soon as I can, man. I promise. A few weeks later, he posts on his Facebook page, it's a picture of him and his son at a Buckeye game. And somebody else who was in the league knew he hadn't paid yet, and they posted, nice that you can afford to take your kid to a Buckeye game, but you can't afford to pay your fantasy football league entry fee. And he actually responded to it and said, oh, yeah, I need to do that. Never, ever got it. Never. He never paid it. Obviously didn't come back to the league, but, Well, but if he'd have won the league, he'd sure wanted paid.
For sure. But I think if you're a good human being and you see another human being struggling and you have the means to help them, and it's not going to, like Kelly said, it's not going to, well, man, if I help you, I can't pay my car payment. That's different. But if you have the means and you go, all right, man, I can give you $100 and probably be okay. I think that's fine. It's when people go on and on and on and on and take advantage of that, and you see them all of a sudden they're living a better lifestyle than you did, and you still haven't been paid back that's where the problem comes into play. So, I said it again. Dang it.
Yeah. Josh had one just like that. He loaned a buddy $1,000. 6 months later, he's posting a pic of him and a date on a rooftop restaurant. I commented on the pic, and he texted him. And he tells me I have no right to tell him how to live his life. Ouch. That's from Josh. Classic.
Yeah. Well, I'm funding your life.
I mean, if it's a typical, if somebody needs $50, $100, I think a month is fair. That's when I'm going to start asking, hey, what's going on, My wife loves money, so she's probably going to wait like 5 minutes before she starts asking.
You just gave it to me. I know.
Yeah, when you pay it back, come on, let's go.
Yeah, I just think you got to take it and look at the individual's lifestyle and what they're leading and go from there. Or just don't lend money. Just lie. I don't have it. Yeah, but you just got back from Hawaii. Yep, sure did.
Yeah, that's why I don't have it.
That's why I don't have it.
And now, all right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
A bicyclist is dead after a hit skip early this morning at the intersection of Westerville Road and Innis Road. Police say the bicyclist was crossing Westerville Road, was hit by a white Chevy Suburban. The cyclist was pronounced dead at the hospital. The driver of the Suburban took off. This is the second hit skip in Columbus in the last 24 hours. The first was early yesterday. A pedestrian hit and killed near 161 in Sawmill Road. Police looking for the driver of a Scion XD. Dr. Anthony Fauci is expected to make a full recovery after being hospitalized for the West Nile virus. He says that he thinks he was bit by an infected mosquito in his own backyard. The 83-year-old former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases told reporters he is out of the hospital and at home recuperating. But it can be really dangerous, especially if you're older, to get West Nile. They say that 1 in 10 older people who get, a serious version of West Nile die. So he's lucky. He's really lucky. A Lenovo computer salesman is suing Lenovo because the company fired him for peeing in a hallway of the lobby of his Times Square hotel. 66-year-old Richard Becker is asking for $1.5 million from Lenovo. He accuses the company of discrimination because he says he has a chronic bladder condition. Apparently, he was going back to his hotel. This was a work trip. He's going back to his hotel after a business dinner in New York City. He gets to the lobby of the hotel and he says he was overwhelmed with the need to take a whiz. Like it was just absolutely now or you're going in your pants. You should go in your pants, bro, because he went into the hallway, let her rip. A coworker saw him and told HR. So the coworker ratted him out immediately to HR. Lenovo fires the guy. He's like, we're done. We're done here. And so now he's suing $1.5 million over a chronic bladder condition, I guess, that causes you to whip it out and pee in a hotel hallway.
Well, but haven't you ever been walking through a hotel hallway and went, oh, it's a nice plant, and just watered the plant?
Yeah, I mean, no. But also, this is what adult diapers are for. And I really am so sorry to say that. But if you have a chronic bladder condition where you cannot hold it in time to go up the elevator to your own room or go into the lobby bathroom, you need some Depends. You do. And that's what they're for, right? No shame. People have bladder conditions. And they make them so that you can't really tell that they're on. It's not like you're wearing a baby diaper. It's like you're wearing, an undergarment that can help in this situation. You don't whip it out in the hallway of a hotel and take a whiz. Right?
Yeah, I don't think you do that, for sure.
Man, can I get on this jury, please?
This reminds me, though, of the lady with IBS that worked for ESPN. She was an original employee, 1980. She worked there for 30 years. In 2010, she got moved to this place on a floor where she had to go a long distance to get to the restroom. So she just kept going in this empty office next door and going in the trash can. And they fired her.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's a freaking biohazard.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Are we clear on where we should go to the bathroom?
Kelly wants to make sure you all know it.
All right, those are your three things.
Sometimes you just like to change it up a bit. And let it go in various places. Fuel on the Morning Blitz, 808 Fit Grit, Kelly Quinn. I'm Lewis.
We're debating still whether it was okay for that ESPN woman to poop in the trash can in her hallway, right? Or in another office?
I think that's gross, but...
Well, I mean, do you think that's gross?
I do, thank you.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm okay with peeing on a plant in a lobby.
Well, it said she definitely was diagnosed with uncontrollable IBS. She was suing them for $15,000, but I can't find out if she ever won or not. But again, it says she was only making $250 a week.
$15,000 would be huge for her.
Yeah, but I mean, she's been at ESPN for 30 years, and she was only making $250 a week. Something's wrong there.
Facts. Check this out, guys. The family of Sandra Bonilla is locked in a legal battle with her San Antonio apartment complex. Bonilla died in late June, and her family says they followed the law and sent a termination letter to management at her apartment complex. But now they've received a bill demanding more than $15,000. In the letter to the family, the lodge at Shavano Park Apartments says the 91-year-old had almost a year left on her lease, and the bill includes an $1,100 lease break fee.
She's dead.
The notice included a message that the bill will be sent to a collection agency unless the payment is made. Lawyers say Texas law only allows a landlord to charge up to 30 days rent after notice of death is received.
They can still charge 30 days?
Yeah, which is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. And who the collection agency, who are they going to go after?
I'm assuming whoever's in charge of the estate.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing. You know, when somebody dies, they have to pay all outstanding debts. And
yeah, it comes out of the estate usually. And then whatever's left over. But
that's an evil landlord, man.
But a lot of leases are like that. I mean, there are lease penalties where if you speak from experience.
Sure.
I had to get out of the lease, and it cost me $6,000 based on the wording of the lease. Like $6,000 for a place that I barely lived in. Do you know how hard of a check that is to write?
I can imagine.
Well, that's the purpose of a lease, though, is that they're agreeing. I mean, you can't expect them to not charge you for breaking a lease after 2 months.
Sure, but I understand. I think again, and we had this discussion when you're lending money last time, I think it's a case-by-case scenario. If you die, dude, lease is over.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, sorry. I just had it in my hand. You're not, Rick thought I was handing it. I was just moving it out of I was looking at my computer screen, so I moved it out of the way, and I held it. Rick thought I was handing him a piece of paper. Sorry. No, I think if you're dead, clearly you can't meet the terms of the lease, right? It's not like you went, I'm going to move across the street and did that. You died.
Yeah.
Is that a provision in the lease? Does anybody know when you're signing an apartment lease? Does it cover what happens if you die?
Well, the Texas law does.
Texas law does. They can't charge you more than 30 days. I always, and correct me if I'm wrong, I always thought that, I know in the military, if you are deployed, you are free and clear to get out of...
Oh, is that right?
I'm pretty sure.
I would hope so.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I also thought, and maybe this is how it used to be, and then it's changed a bit. I don't know for sure. I used to think that if you were taking a job transfer and you were moving more than between 50 and 100 miles away from I think it's 100 miles away from your place, you could break the lease. So again, if I had a lease in Columbus and I took a job transfer to Chicago, I can't obviously still pay for an apartment in Columbus that I'm not going to be living in. You know what I mean? You should be out. I thought you were, but apparently that's not the case. And I learned this the hard way when I had to get out of my Indianapolis lease. But let's talk about this. 800-821-9970 or 99700 on the text line.
Veterans, if you can confirm about being deployed, does that get you out of a lease? That'd be great.
Yeah, what circumstances should you be allowed to just vacate a lease? Foo Fighters on the Morning Blitz. 824, Thick, Kelly, Lewis. Discussing leases. San Antonio, Texas, woman died. They tried to collect an $1,100 break the lease fee and billed her for like $15,000 for the remainder of the lease. And she died. Now, Matt said this court case got thrown out when they got exposed, as it should be. But we were asking, when should it be okay to break a lease? I know that it cost me $6,000 to get out of a lease. I got the place, was there 2 months, but I only stayed there literally like 1 month out of the 2 outside of a couple of days. And then my job situation changed, so I had to leave my lease. But in order to get out of it early, I had to pay 6 months. I had to have covered 6 months, and then I had a lease fee penalty. When it was all said and done, it was like $6,000. Jeez. And I didn't even live there. But in my head, I went, job change, I guess the rent was about $1,000 a month. $6,000 was better than paying $12,000.
Yeah.
Didn't like it. But now I've been super cautious after that of any place I ever move, I will look at what it takes to break that lease. Because I always thought with a job transfer, you could go. If you were moving, again, hey, I'm transferring across the street, sucks to be you, you're still in this lease.
Yeah.
But if you're moving
another state,
another city, whatever.
But I feel like it does. I'm not trying to come down on the side of the apartment complex because that's ridiculous. If you get fired and you already you don't have any income, and you have to move to get a job, it feels like in their best interest to work with you. Pay a couple months, you're out. But I do think that it does cost. I'd like to know how much it costs for an apartment complex to get an apartment ready for a new tenant. Like, do you have to paint? And what type of money loss are we talking in terms of you breaking a lease? I think that should be taken into consideration. However, I have a friend who was in a situation, getting divorced, being stalked, moved into an apartment complex. Things got bad, so she wanted to move out of town, and they would not let her break her lease, despite evidence that she was being harassed. Now, that to me is odd. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a criminal situation. Like, as a landlord, you should be flexible when it's a safety issue.
Dustin and Derek both said that the military thing we were talking about is correct. If you are deployed or if you have orders to go, you can get out of your lease for that. Brandy said she has a $1,400 lease break fee on her credit because she left an apartment complex after there was a shootout in the parking lot.
And somebody tried to kill her dog with poison.
Oof. See, I think there should be certain situations where you should be able to break a lease. Again, I'm not talking like, hey, I got a new job while I'm living in this apartment, and now I can go get this much cooler, brand new apartment, so I want to get out of my lease. Nah, you're stuck in that lease because you committed to it. But if you lose your job and can't afford to pay the rent, you should be able to get out because the apartment's not going to be able to collect from you.
Yeah, it's just going to make it worse on you.
There's this girl
on everybody.
Yeah. This gal on TikTok. Her name's Jay Lampy, and she was she just has a situation that's wild. She's in an apartment. There was a fire in the complex that made her apartment uninhabitable. Number one, the landlord tried to collect the next month's rent from her. She's like, I can't even live here. What do you mean? This fire was not my fault. I'm not paying rent. Number two, he locked and changed the locks on her door so she can't go get her stuff out.
That's ridiculous.
Holding her stuff hostage when there was a fire that was not her fault that made her apartment uninhabitable. Now that's wild. That's wild.
Well, please tell me.
That's a slumlord situation.
That they got out of that.
No, this is a current situation happening
God.
this second. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that person needs put on blast.
Yeah.
That landlord.
Yeah, I didn't realize there were such lease penalty fees and everything else that went into it.
You learned that the hard way.
Well,
I guess
because you go into it and you go, well, okay, well, wait a minute. If you're going to charge, and that's where one of my fees came in. I couldn't give 60 days notice, so that's where one of the other fees came in. And it was like, well, hell, if I have to give 60 days notice, now I got to pay 2 more months with no income, plus still got to pay all the break penalties anyway. It was just more of a suck it up now, and
Cassandra texted in, at my property, it costs a minimum $1,000 to turn our smallest unit. And that's just for the basics, full paint, clean, carpet cleaning. Yeah, the larger the place, the more it costs to turn over an apartment.
Okay. That makes...
No, I understand that. I get that. But again, if somebody loses their job, they're not going to be able to pay you no matter what.
Right. But I would rather...
You're going to end up evicting them.
If you could turn that fee, what she said, minimum $1,000 to turn the place around.
Yeah, it's like you could say, I'll pay the grand. I'll pay that if you let me out of my lease.
Like, let's say I've got 8 months to go.
That's fair.
Cool, that's fair. I'll pay the fee to turn it around.
I like that.
But a lot of also places... Sorry, go ahead.
No, good.
I was just going to say, a lot of places, there's also a clause in your lease that you can't sublease it. So you're kind of...
Yeah. But if you get fired and you can't pay and you're like, I can't get out of the lease, I'm staying, but I can't pay, then 2 months down the road, they're going to have to evict you, and then they're going to have to turn it. So now they've lost 2 extra months of rent they could have been getting. You know what I mean?
You'd get a big fat ding on your credit, though.
Yeah.
So
that was my thing. I'm like, well, if I go against this, now I'm going to have whatever pops up on my credit. Did I just leave an apartment? Did I...
good luck getting another place with that on your record.
Jeremy said in Ohio, it's the property owner's responsibility to paint if needed and carpet if needed, and any appliances are supposed to be replaced prior to the new tenant moving in. So it's rough. Anyway, we're just curious to see where you stood on such a thing.
Yeah, but don't charge a person's family when they die. Come on.
I'm tired of your goddamn rock and roll, anything goes lifestyle.
This is your Blitz Rock Rundown, the Monday morning edition. Rock and roll!
All right. Let's get into some rock and run it down.
Let's do it. Hi. Good morning. You want to just get right into it?
Why not? Let's hit the ground running.
All right, well, let's start with Fame on Fire. They just released another track from The Death Card, which is due out on September 6th. It's called Nothing Left the Fool. You have it?
Nothing Left the Fool.
I like it.
I was trying to wonder if it was like something profound. Nothing left the fool. Or did somebody named Nothing leave the fool? Nothing left the fool. I'm trying.
You're thinking too much.
I know.
Fame on Fire is coming to the Andrew J. Brady Music Center in Cincinnati with Wage War on Wednesday, October 2nd. Let's talk about Pop Evil. They are teaming up with Bad Wolves for a fall co-headlining tour.
I like this.
Me too. The Animal Instinct Tour. It's coming to the Bluestone on November 29th, and tickets just went on sale on Friday. Now, this will be the first tour for Pop Evil since Blake Allison of Devour the Day was named as the official replacement for drummer Haley Kramer, who left late last year. And Joey Chicago, that's his nickname, Walzer, he's been the bassist since 2021, and there's the 2 members from Devour the Day are now Pop Evil's members. You learned that last week, but and Devour the Day is touring with Daughtry in December, and they're coming to Kemba Live Friday, December 6th as a part of the Blitz Fall concert series. So I remember I was wondering, like, how are they going to do that? If your band's touring, how they worked around it.
Well, I guess they'd have different dates, but that is Blitzmas concert series.
Blitz Fall concert series. That's what I read.
No, not Daughtry in December.
Daughtry in December is Blitzmas concert series.
My bad. I just work here.
You know, Christmas comes in December, right?
No, I had no idea.
Doesn't move around the calendar. Let's have it in June, which would be awesome.
I'm going home.
You're fine.
Let's talk about Ronnie Radke of Falling in Reverse. He just filed a defamation lawsuit against music critic Anthony Fontano. He's got millions of followers on social media under the handle The Needle Drop. Anthony posted an 8-minute video on YouTube back in August of 2023 titled "This Guy Sucks." Yeah, he lists supposed allegations made against Ronnie over the years, including sexual assault. He compares him to Bill Cosby.
Wait a minute, is this a guy? Is this Lewis writing under somebody else's name?
This is the stuff about Ronnie Radke that I tried to say when people, we've asked this question a couple of weeks ago or last week. Why is there such celebrities that you're over because of their antics? A lot of people don't like Ronnie Radke because there's a lot of stuff, domestic and otherwise, that he's been involved with. He was in jail for a while.
Well, the suit says that Anthony's verbal tirade regarding Ronnie, whom doesn't know or has never met, goes beyond the bounds of permissible commentary and extends into the realm of actionable innuendo, unfounded rumor mongering. I love that word. And outright untruth. And it also claims that Anthony refused to take the video down after he was asked multiple times. Video's still up.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty bad. Bill Cosby getting compared. It all started, though, with a Twitter war between the two of them back in February of 2023 over Anthony's review of the song Watch the World Burn. Apparently he didn't like it, and then Ronnie didn't like that. It's a mess. But we'll see.
This didn't have anything to do with him getting kicked off of social media.
I guess not.
All right.
I mean, he's still on there.
Well, he had to create a new account.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he was Ronnie Radke. Now he's Ronnie Radke. So,
yeah, there's a lot of. If you Google Ronnie Radke, there's a lot of stuff that comes up that's not necessarily. And I mean, you could do that to anybody. To be fair,
right?
But
I never knew any of the nitty gritties about him. I just knew that people didn't like him.
I mean, Lewis, you're part of some white supremacist group in Tennessee. Remember?
Dude,
that's what somebody found you.
It's a private society. Can't that? No, yeah. Rick asked me that one day. Hey, when did you join a white supremacist cult in Tennessee? I didn't.
My father-in-law. You know him, Tess.
Yeah.
He when Lewis came to work for us, he decided he was going to look Lewis up and find out everything he could find out about him. And he goes, he's part of some white supremacist group down in Tennessee. I'm like, what are you talking about? Not Lewis. That's impossible. That is absolutely impossible. So I'm just saying, there's things out there,
Yeah, You know how long it took me to earn that Grand Dragon stripe? No, never. Not at all. But I mean, if it's on the internet, it must be true, right?
Always.
Right. They don't put stuff out there that's fake.
I know that one's fake. There's no way.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of, with Radke, he's had altercations with people. There was the thing where he got mad because he was cold and somebody wouldn't buy him a $300,
Oh, I remember that.
He wanted a coat. So he wanted like a $300 North Face jacket, and they were like, no, we're not going to buy you a $300 coat. Here's a hoodie from your merch tent.
Who did he ask to buy him that?
Like one of the people, whoever he was doing a show for, he was going to refuse to go on because he was cold.
I know he's not afraid to say anything online.
No, the big thing is in 2006 he was involved in an altercation in Las Vegas that resulted in a friend fatally shooting a guy in self-defense.
Ooh, this is just messy.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to Ozzy.
Speaking of who've done nothing wrong.
He just announced that he will be at his induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in October. He's been dealing with some health issues, so it's been up in the air whether or not he'd be there to accept it. He will be inducted alongside Peter Frampton, Foreigner, Dave Matthews Band, Cher, Mary J. Blige, Kool and the Gang, and A Tribe Called Quest on October 19th at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland. Now, last I checked, the public could buy tickets, but I think it's only if there was like enough room left for us common folk. As long as the important people got tickets, then the public could buy. So that's cool. Coming to Ohio. He's going to be up in Cleveland in October.
The Ozman cometh.
Sure does. Well, that's your Blitz Rock Rundown. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. When's Ozzy's farewell concert in London? Did they set a date for that yet?
I thought everything has been canceled.
So they did cancel that too?
Oh, don't hold me to that. I'll have to look it up. But last I heard, I thought he canceled everything.
Oh, I thought he was going to do the one show.
I know he wants to.
Yeah.
Well, you have to find him 1,000 brown M&Ms or he won't go on stage. That's what I heard.
Would anybody?
Is that one of his things?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
According to Wayne's World 2.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't get that reference.
Oh, no?
No. I just thought he was going to do the one show in London. I wasn't sure if there was anything around that where he might do one more. Because I would hope that he would do one here, one there, and that would make sense, then call it a career.
But I don't want him to. I've never seen Ozzy live.
Oh, just the best.
Just sit him in a wheelchair, roll him out on stage.
Sing.
Yeah.
Don't get up. Just sing.
I'm all for it. I mean, Dave Grohl did a concert tour from a throne.
Correct.
Why can't Ozzy?
He broke his leg. He's not dealing with all the health issues that Ozzy has.
Oh, as long as Ozzy can sing.
All right. Here's your wheelchair. Here's your oxygen machine. Now put on a show.
Right. Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah. I'm there.
It's elder reviews. Squeezer on the Morning Blitz, 8:51 with Dick, Kelly, and Lewis. Earlier this morning, we talked about this Uber driver that Rick has been dying to talk about all morning.
Well, I didn't meet him as an Uber driver. We were at the Bourbon Toast. We were out there for the big Blitz historic Bourbon Toast at East Market Saturday, and there was a guy behind us. He was working security, and around the whole event there were several security people, and got to talking to him, and his name was Emmanuel, and he is from Ghana, and he's been here for a year. We got 2 texts this morning from 2 different people who said, Emmanuel from Ghana is an Uber driver. Well, that's one of the things he does, I guess. And I'm like, the odds are it's the same guy, right? I mean, it's got to be.
Well, I don't know. Would it be like if you're in Ghana saying, hey, I met a guy named John who's an Uber driver, and they'd be like, oh, it's got to be the same guy, John from the USA.
Right.
I mean, Emmanuel might be a pretty popular name in Ghana.
True. That's true.
That's true.
But he's been here in the country for a year. And I even asked him, I said, so when did you start learning English? And he goes, when I got here. I said, just when you got here a year ago? He says, yeah. I said, I am impressed. His English was fantastic for somebody who's only been here from Ghana for a year.
English is Ghana's language, though, isn't it? Maybe he spoke a different, language?
Yeah.
Yeah, but English is spoken in Ghana.
Okay.
That's their main language.
Well, he said he never spoke English till he got here.
Wow.
So... But anyway, we were talking because he was talking about how we just legalized marijuana. And he's laughing at us. He said, you guys are funny here. I go, why? He said, it just grows everywhere in Ghana. We smoke it from the time we're 12 years old. Everybody smokes it in Ghana. He said they use the leaves to make medicine that does wonders. When people get infections and stuff, they use the marijuana leaves to make medicine for people. So he just thought that he got a kick out of the fact that we just legalized marijuana. It's just like, it's everybody does it over there. It's just a completely normal thing.
You're really surprised that he was able to learn English in a year.
As good as it was.
Rosetta Stone's no joke.
All right, but here's the other thing he said. And this is crazy. He said he tells everybody here, if you've got a little money and you can go over to Ghana for a couple of months, you can get so rich. He said $100 there is like $3,000 here. We're talking about U.S. dollars. So $100 there is about $3,000 here, as far as the value of $100 U.S. dollars. But he said people will come over there and stay for a couple of months, and they'll buy, gold, silver, diamonds, dirt cheap, ship them home. They'll spend a couple months doing that, and then come back home and sell it here and make, 3,000% markup price. Right? Makes you think, doesn't it?
Interesting business plan.
Well, and then I think about when you ask people what they do, and you get the guy that goes, I'm in import exports. I'm like, what? That's what that is. That's exactly what that guy's doing, right?
Maybe he really
is
is an import-export guy. He works for a company. He does customer service for them.
But I was just fascinated talking to him about the things going on there, you know. And he said, "Yeah, you gotta." He said, "If you want to go over there and get in on the, the King's gems, go search in their land for the gems. You gotta spot the Kings over there. $100 to go search."
Don't you have to also claim it on your form when you're going into customs?
That's true.
How does that work?
I would like to ship these priceless gems back.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he said, I could tell he was like, it wasn't it wasn't going to be completely on the up and up. Yeah.
Okay. Are those real cubic zirconia? Just pack them up and send them.
I was just fascinated talking to him about all of this. I showed him pictures of my plants and he loved it. He goes, "When am I coming over?" But he was just a really super nice guy. He said he loves to travel around the world alone.
That's cool.
So
there are a lot of people that travel alone. There really are.
Yeah.
That it's kind of therapeutic to people to do that if you're able to. So, I'm glad you enjoyed Emmanuel.
Yeah,
I feel like we should all meet him.
Emmanuel from Ghana. Good dude.
And now, all right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
3 women were injured in a golf cart accident over the weekend on Kelly's Island. In fact, they're all 3 in the hospital. Apparently, the driver lost control, crashed the vehicle. All 3 were ejected. A woman is dead on the first day of the Burning Man Festival in the Nevada desert. She found unresponsive on Sunday morning, and emergency personnel were unable to save her. Death under investigation till a cause can be found, and her name and age have not been released. All right, there's this bald eagle. Apparently, people were calling the Missouri Department of Conservation recently because this eagle was not flying away. It was just like sort of, I don't know, stumbling around on the ground. So the Department of Conservation came in. They took this bird that they thought was injured, took it into their care. But it turns out the bird had eaten a raccoon roadkill and just could not lift off because of the weight of what it had eaten, which, I get it. Have you ever eaten so much that you can't move?
Yeah. Oh, a whole raccoon? Yeah, that'll drop me.
So I'm like, I ate half a pizza Saturday when my husband wasn't there because there was nobody to help me control my intake. And I was like a beached freaking whale on the couch. Like, forget it. I couldn't even get up. So I get it.
You disgust me.
This eagle chilled out at the rehab center until it digested, apparently, and now has been released back into the wild. So happy ending for that eagle, and those are your 3 things.
His name's Mo.
Mo the eagle.
Mo the fat, bald eagle.
Aw.